Right guys, thanks a lot for watching part 1 of the video. Part 2 we're going to be showing the build and how it all started and why this all went terribly wrong in the first place. But to do that, we're going to have to go back in time. And I've heard that you've got to go over 88 miles an hour to do that. I don't think that's going to be very difficult. Enjoy guys. Right, so the ZD30 has thoroughly let us down. It's done 130,000 miles and I'm pretty certain the piston's cracked. It does still run. Look at the gear stick.
Is that not normal?
No, that's not normal. Oh. And if you look in the mirror, you can see...
It's just a bit of smoke. It's not bad, is it?
There is.
It's just a bit of smoke.
So if we're trying to limp it. Trying to limp into this little safe area. This is what's going to happen if you get a ZD30. You're going to end up stranded at the side of a motorway. Look at the smoke coming out.
It's just a small amount of smoke. It doesn't look that bad.
That is bad. Come on, ZD30.
Come on, just get to the...
Get me to this lay-by.
Just want to get to that lay-by. Emergency refuge.
Come on. Oh, God. That is engine oil it's burning. And how do I know that it's that? Because I took the oil cap off while it was running and literally, like a steam train, blasting at me. Well, I think that's the end of it. It doesn't want to die though, it's still trying to idle. Look at the smoke out your window.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's not great, is it?
Right, we're back up and running, which is good news. Sadly, we're not driving using the engine of this vehicle. We are on the back of the recovery vehicle, travelling down the M1, which does seem a little bit, well, different. I've been in a few recovery vehicles, but I've never been in my own vehicle on the recovery vehicle. But I suppose it's kind of fun.
What speed do you think we're doing?
Probably doing about 40, 45, something like that.
So we'll be home in no time at this rate.
Yeah, but just think how much fuel I'm saving.
You've got like a full tank and your engine's totally shot.
Sadly, we'll have to offset that by the amount of oil that I lost through that crash.
What's going on?
What's this? Are you videoing me?
Yeah, I just been the Paw Controller coming on.
What time is it?
I don't know.
It's 4. So, the problem is, on the other bit of video you saw, we were on the back of the truck on the way to here, services. Now it's 4 o'clock, so like 5 hours later or something. So we've been hooked up and unhooked, and the problem is that because we're towing the trailer, there isn't a trailer plug that's correct for our trailer. It's just a standard UK 7-pin plug, which all UK trailers have, and we're in the UK. And because I didn't have an adapter and the guy doesn't have an adapter and no one can come out and bring him one, we're having to be back unloaded again. We haven't gone anywhere, we've literally put all the car seats and everything in the truck, and then, yeah, so as you can see, the car's back off the truck. So
you look happy about this?
Yeah. Well, we'll get home sooner or later. It's just it wouldn't be so bad if it were just us two. It's having the kids, it just seems like more of a bit of a nightmare. It's going to be their bedtime
too. Look, Fast and Furious. They've arrived. Yeah. They're here.
Fast and Spanish. Not Fast and Furious.
They've arrived.
So it's nearly 7 o'clock and we're still not home. We're nearly home, but the guy had to take a break, a taco break. So the girlies are going crazy. I'm going crazy. Moral of the story is, when somebody says ZD30 engines are rubbish, don't take it lightly, they really are rubbish. today we're starting up this beautiful cat yellow Mercedes OM606, and it's got our very exciting 8.5mm super pump. Oh yes, just going to give it a start up, make sure everything runs nice, and basically just show you how nice this engine looks. Always wait for your glow plugs. Look at that. The one that I'm using. This is a twin scroll stainless steel construction, T3 and T4 bolt pattern, so you can put either or on there, and I've left enough meat in the casting if you want to die grind that out so that it flows beautifully into your T4. Obviously we can't have both, otherwise, well, there'd be a big problem with your T3. Also, just have a quick look at the inside of that casting. Look at that. I like that, don't you? Right. Right, so we're going to fit the turbocharger. This one we're using today, it's going in one of my cars, so obviously it's going to be my favourite turbo. And it's the S200 Borg Warner. I'm using the extra small housing on the back of this. So these turbos with the extra small housing probably won't manage 400 horsepower. But they will spool up real low down for a big frame turbo, you know. To be in the high 300s and still spooling at 2000 RPM, just a little over, in my opinion, for a big turbo is really good. So again, we're going to use Nord locks. This time we're going to use Allen bolts because it's easier to access them. And a little bit of copper slip again. This is the amazing thing, the great thing about using Nord locks is that you can actually lubricate your fasteners and not worry about them coming out because they're mechanically not going to come out. CLC compressor, just in case it don't impress her. This kit is designed for you guys at home to be able to install the trusty mechanical OM606 diesel engine, which can make big horsepower, as you know, as well as being fully mechanically controlled, which we like, directly onto the original ZD30 manual 5-speed transmission. A basic but important task. I'm tapping out the holes in my engine block to apply my Nissan Patrol specific for a 3-litre manual engine mount. You can't go wrong because the holes line up. Ignore these extra 2 holes. These are like the very first pair of mounts. The actual finished products are going to be electroplated. They'll be like yellow like our Land Rover mounts and all the rest of it. But this is just a pair of prototypes, but the shapes will be very similar. And the exciting thing about these mounts as well is that they can be used on the OM606 or the OM613/OM648 platform. So if you want to put the newer common rail style engine into your Y61 Patrol, no problem, you can put either or in on these same mounts. The adapter plate for the OM648 is thicker, but we've put provisions to be able to move it that distance. Why does an easy job always have to get really hard? It's always the same reasons as well, isn't it? It's always rough. Got some crunchy bits. And yeah, so down here in the corners, in this front cross member, like somebody's obviously had a go at repairing this stuff before. So this is meant to be like one complete beam that goes all the way under there. And obviously you can see there isn't that, it doesn't even exist anymore. Right, so what I'm doing now is, obviously we realised that the full front end of the Patrol, well, the bottom end of this front this front panel, I suppose, was totally rotten. This was the original panel that went across there. So what I did is I literally took the 9-inch grinder and I chopped that clean off there. Because this isn't going to be some kind of concourse show vehicle. It just wants to be tough, you know, repaired once and job done. So what I've done is I've cut that straight off, and rather than using some, you know, another replacement cross member that's 50mm by 50mm, I've literally used a piece of square box section, square, there, put my tooth in, make me sharp bad there. I put some 50mm box section in, and that's going to be a lot stronger. And it passes the NCAP safety rating for frontal collision. So what I'm doing now is even the actual mounts. So these were the original front body mounts, these things here, and as you can see, they're absolutely amazing. That really does sum up what was going on at the front end of the car. They were in there, and you can still see a bit of the original metalwork is in there. So they were useless. So what I've decided to do is, I had some leftover nylon bushings from when we did the Chevy body. So what I've done is I've welded a plate into the bottom of this to repair it. I'm going to finish welding this when we're finished. And then this, I'm going to slice down. I think I need to take about 10mm off there. And I've already, because I thought about this, already pre-drilled all the holes, so my bolts are ready to go straight through. And then just bolt that nylon bush in between. And then it's done. The bottom end of this is fixed. It could have been a 10-year task, but I made it a half-a-day task. And it's going to be as strong as a strong thing. Right, join me later for more bodging professional repairs. Bye. Keeping it short and sweet on this one because nobody wants to see every nut and bolt put into a conversion. They get bored, they fall asleep. So what have I been doing while you guys have all been sleeping and playing on your Xboxes? Well, I've been fastening in the oil cooler and the charge cooler here. And my plan with these is to block the radiator as much as possible so the radiator can't do its job. However, I did think this through. I've put the very largest radiator known to man behind that, so to compensate for this terrible blockage and terrible airflow, I should still have some decent cooling due to the size of the radiator. Retarded, yes, however functional. Bye for now. Fuck all of y'all. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. I used to have the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. I can't remember the rest, but that got weird, didn't it? Hard to hard. What's the problem? What's the problem? Oh, it's stuck.
I think it's time for rivet glue.
Meet me outside about that. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, no, that wasn't. What's up? Can you see that side? Does it look like it's going to hit anything? Stop. I've been trying to get the fucking buds in all day, like, and I fucking can't get them in. Struggling like a fucking witch's tit.
Doesn't even make sense, that's the best thing.
Oh, fucking hell. Ant-Man and deck pet. Oh.
We're giving up.
I'm not, I haven't given up.
Putting a ZD30 back in.
I haven't given up. I'm
Got
just,
this close, but
I'm just, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Well, I've cobbled all these pipes together and you're thinking, what kind of hellish concoction is that? Well, there's a reason for this. The petrol, if you turn the heating system off, it cuts the coolant flow off to the back of the head of the engine, which is very bad. So what I've had to do is, instead of just connecting one coolant pipe directly to the back of the engine and one coolant pipe to the front of the engine, I've just literally had to make a little link pipe in there so that it can bypass should I have the heating closed off inside. Now, I am going to put a tap into there and then work out the perfect position where it works nicely at a later stage, but at the minute I'm more bothered about the cooling than the heating, so that's that. Expansion tanks plumbed into that coolant heater hose as well, which is something that I normally do, that's absolutely fine. The fuel pipes are hooked up, they're around there, obviously just loosely cable tied. I'm going to P-clip them when everything's in place and looking symmetrical. I have done the power steering pump return pipe. It goes through this horrendous cooler that goes all the way around the front of the vehicle. I'm sure that'll never leak at any point. And then comes back to there. And I'm at the stage now where I need to make the power steering pressure pipe. So, I had a route round in my boxes upstairs, and you guys will be able to do this as well at home. If you have a standard W210 power steering hose, and you've been good, and you saved it, and you didn't just chop it like a bad man would, then you'll be pleased to know that it is the correct length to be welded straight to the end of this one. Now, if you aren't an experienced TIG welder or any kind of experienced welder whatsoever, I wouldn't advise that you weld any kind of hydraulic pipe, regardless of how high the pressure is or what you're using it for. However, I have got a little bit of TIG welding experience, so I am going to weld it together. And then if it fails, you can laugh at me. Don't worry kids, I've done this before. The key is, if you do weld the pipe together, make sure you support the pipe at either side with P-clips. Yes, thank you for that. So yeah, those two put together, this is the original patrol pipe, and I just cut the banjo off. Original Mercedes 210 pipe, cut the end off, weld them together, perfect length, it'll go along that cross member. And then we will have a cooling system, well, the heater matrix side of the cooling system. We'll have a fuel system, we'll have a power steering system, and then what's next? I'll put the radiator in and actually do the big coolant pipes. I've already made the charge cooler and oil cooler mounting brackets, as I'm sure you've probably seen before, or if you haven't, I'll show you. So they're ready to go in. My off-the-shelf oil cooler pipes, which are these. So if you buy an oil cooler kit from DieselPumpUK, you get these two pre-made oil cooler pipes. Now I had to personally make an educated guess at what length pipe would fit the most applications, which as you can imagine is not always easy. But these happen to fit perfectly into a patrol. So we know they fit patrols and Land Rovers. And they literally, AN10 adapters are going to go onto the oil filter housing and then to the oil cooler at the front. So that's brilliant, I don't need to get any hoses made up for that, I've got them in stock. They're the little AN10 adapters. They come with O-rings, the part of the kit they push in. You can buy these separately if you already have your own oil cooler. So shall we go and weld this pipe? Let's do it. On it. Eyes. Right, you can let go now. So now that's tacked, I'm quite confident that I'll be able to roll it again and then weld round it. Right, so I'm just gently applying some filler rod as I'm going round, trying not to get it too hot. And then I'm going to just use the air blower just to cool that down. Okay, so if you had a little bit more time than us, you could of course get one of these hoses made up, you know, the correct length. By the time this video might come out, we might actually offer this as an item you can buy. Obviously not a welded one like this, but a length of pipe with the correct ends on that you can literally just install. So, hey guys, right, today I've been wiring up this bad boy. Now the beauty of having a fully mechanical engine is the lack of wiring, right? So it's been a little bit more tricky than expected. Normally when you do a conversion like this, you would simply put the coolant sensor out of the old engine into the new engine, and then you'd have a temp gauge that works, right? So with the Patrol, the ZD30 in this particular model, we had two temperature sensors that were 2-pin, and neither one of those made the gauge work. So I could show you. It was this plug and another one, basically. Both had a blue 2-wire temp sensor on, right? Neither one of those made the gauge work. One is for the dashboard, one is for the ECU's information, and the other one's for something else. But neither made the gauge work on the dash, so useless to us. So after a bit of fiddling around and conferring around the workshop and discussing this, I had another look at the engine, and it turned out that there is another single wire sensor, which is this one, and on the ZD30 it's tucked on the, I'm trying to think what side, this side of the engine, it's tucked into the head, just a single wire sensor, and that is the one for the gauge on the dash. So finally found that out, cup of hot water, got it working on the dash. And the reason why it's all such a mess like this is because you want to find out that all the sensors and the other bits and pieces work before you route your wiring and then realise that you routed the wrong things to the wrong places. So that's the temperature sensor. So the next thing was the oil pressure switch. And I thought, oh, straightforward. I asked Joel, who's holding the camera, get me the oil pressure switch out of that other engine. Yep, no problem, he said. 3 hours later, he came back with the oil pressure sensor. And I plugged it in, turned it on. No, the oil pressure light didn't go off. Well, it wouldn't do, because there was obviously no engine running, no pressure. Now, normally, if you earth that out, it'll make the light on the dash go out. It still didn't work. Interesting. So I had another look at the system, found another oil pressure sensor, plugged that one in, or put them both to earth, still no joy, still didn't make the oil light go out. And then I found that if you put one of them to earth, it made the oil light brighter, which was odd. Anyway, we got there in the end, and I'll tell you how I did it. So I put two oil pressure sensors, these are both out of the engine. Both of these leads go to earth, by the way. One isn't a pos and one an egg. And I put a pipe with a pressure gauge and an air line, right?
Very big pressure gauge.
So I can literally sneak a bit of air in like that, look on the pressure gauge, and I can read the pressure going to an oil sensor. And I know it's not oil, it's air, but it doesn't matter, it's just pressure, right? So it turns out that you have to have both pressure sensors plugged into the loom, and both pressure sensors have to get the exact same feed of pressure to make the light go out. So you can't have them both plugged in, feed one, and it makes the light go out. No, they both have to receive the same pressure, as if they're both creating some kind of equation, some sort of calculation between them. So you couldn't just put one directly to earth and then the other one, you know, pressure in it. Anyway, so I'm going to make a T-piece that screws both of those into the oil filter housing to the pressure side of it, and then plumb that into the loom. But that took ages to work that simple task out. Very odd, very odd. Not seen that before in any vehicle. I haven't really worked on many Nissans like this. So what have we got left wiring wise? So I've got to do the alternator wire. I've got to shorten because that's too long. It was designed to go the other side. This is something worth noting. In a 606, everything is on the opposite side to the ZD30. Alternator's on the wrong side. Power steering is on the wrong side. Everything's on the wrong side. So all the wiring's got to be modified. The starter motor wires have got to be made longer and the alternator wires have got to be made shorter. But it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. But I just thought I'd let you know a few tips about the nitty-gritty with that sensor, because I'd imagine lots of people doing this conversion might just not bother and either take the bulb out or leave it, which I wouldn't advise. But that is how to solve the problem anyway. So that's your update for now. I'm going to keep going and maybe one day you'll hear this thing run. So long. Hello people, today it's exhaust making day. So I've laid out my parts. Today we're using some 3-inch stainless. It's going to be TIG welded. And I am just in the process of popping the first bend on. So first thing I've done, I've cut this 45 degree because we're actually really fighting a lot of things down here in the engine bay. We're fighting obviously the manifold. We're fighting, and even though this is the most compact manifold on the market, we're fighting this, which is the clutch servo, and then further down, we're actually fighting the drive shaft, which is on the right-hand side, because if you've probably seen most Nissans, the turbo and everything is on the other side, so the downpipe goes down that side normally. It's the usual Nissan debacle of everything being on the wrong side. I've had to flare the end of this pipe because I've cut it on the bend, so it's a 45. But you tend to find that because when they bend the pipe, it actually sometimes can narrow a little, even if it's a mandrel bend. It does narrow a little. So what I've done is I've used my flaring tool and I've actually flared that, you can see, so that it's a tight fit into the V-band. Because if you're doing any kind of TIG welding with stainless and you want it to really look good, you don't want any gap. You want it to be like super tight, super clean. Right, without further ado, I suppose I better start wiping this down and start welding, or start tacking, shall I say. We'll get it all tacked. Hello peeps, exhaust update. So where are we at now currently? The downpipe is pretty much done, which hopefully you'll see from the time lapse. This is like the last piece of the downpipe I'm having to weld on. I didn't really expect it to be quite so... I'm lying, I did expect it to be quite epic. The fitment of a downpipe on a 606 into one of these cars is difficult. This is a section of the downpipe that I'm just about to TIG weld together. Now what I've done is I've cleaned the end of the pipe with some scotch. We'll go back a bit. I've cut this with the bandsaw. I've then sanded it with a sander so that's perfectly flat. I've then cleaned it with some scotch on the end, and then I've wiped it with some acetone, and now I'm ready to weld it. So that's something that's really worth bearing in mind, all those steps. To get a nice weld, you know, to get something that looks kind of attractive like that, you're gonna want to do all those steps so that you're not fighting dirt and contaminants and all the rest of it. TIG welding really is all about preparation and taking your time. It's a super slow, super patient task. It's not one of them things you just want to rush. Now, this is something that all welders will be able to relate to as well. You get to a certain time in the day and you should just go home. Because you get to the point where you end up touching your tip on the stainless, on the material, and you end up making mistakes. Instead of being on your A game and everything looking perfect, it just gets worse, and everything you do wrong takes you twice as long to sort out, which frustrates you more. And I sound terribly negative. I'm not meaning to be, but I am tired. It's been a long day of doing this, so I'm going to have to call it a day. This isn't working for me. We'll do a bit more tomorrow when I've recharged. Yep. It's at this point where you hope that you did actually tack it in the right place. Yeah, that's better. You see what I was going for now? Trying to get it all looking consistent. You can see where I've been a bit wibbly wobbly there, which is a bit unprofessional. And that's basically because I haven't got it in any kind of fixture to keep my arm straight. There, just to let you know what I've done with the settings. Instead of having the TIG on a continuous sort of burn, it's on a pulse setting, as you could see. It's 5% of the time, it's at 149 amps. And then, let's have a look. So this is representing the TIG process of what happens. So when you first press the trigger, this first section here is, hang on, so that first section there is the gas for 1.5 seconds before anything happens. Then it has a startup current of 30 amps, so quite low, and then it ramps up at 30 amps to, yeah, over a second to 149 amps. So you can obviously adjust that slope. Now, because it's on a pulse setting at the minute, we have the 149 amps, which is its peak, and then we have 5% of the time, so it does its peak at 5% of the time. 3 hertz. Yeah, 3 hertz. That's the pulse duration, pulse frequency. And then the dropped side of the pulse, so like it doesn't go off, it doesn't just go bang and then off, it goes to a 35 amp, so from 149 to 35 and then back up again. Then when I take my finger off, it drops off immediately, which I shouldn't do. I should probably put a little amperage on there just so it fades down to 30 amps, but it immediately goes to that. And then it has after gas. Now this is really important, after gas for 5.5 seconds. So that after gas is obviously keeping that whole stainless that's red hot in an inert gas, you know, shielding it from oxygen to stop it looking all crispy and grey and make it look all bright. And if you get enough of it, you know, and the back, either it's a thick material or the back of it's purged, there won't be any colour to your weld. It'll just look white, you know, like really bright, like silver, which is nice to see. But anyway, enough about that. Better try and fit it. Eyesies. Oh, hello.
Too shy, too shy.
I've been welding all my life. I'm 90-year-old and I just need to get this bit of pipe finished before end of the day.
Bit Jamaican, that.
Better get the pipe done before the end of day. That is not Jamaican, that is more Punjabi. Yes, exactly. You
want to get you done for coffee, right?
I need to cut this bar.
You can tell it's Friday, gone 5 o'clock, can't you?
It's Friday again. Yeah, I'm getting tired.
Oh yeah.
Little.
Why is that?
Because I'm doing all work round here. There is a lot of room, but I don't know if I like it. I don't know what that was. Oh! Dandelion and burp dog. Our overseas customers might not understand what that is. This is dandelion juice. You know, as in the weeds that grow in your garden.
I used to think
It actually is. It actually is.
that's a bird dog.
Burp dog. This, people, is what I would call a cheap lift kit. This £850.
Plus all the stuff you need, but you're not going to
Yeah, there's 2 springs. No, there should. I don't know why it looks like there's 4 springs and 1 shock absorber. I'm kind of hoping there's 4 shock absorbers in there, but I can't see there being 4 shock absorbers in there.
They're definitely not 4 remote res ones.
No. I wanted King, but King are out of stock, so I had to go with the old man Emu.
The reason that all of this exhaust is way more complicated than it ever needed to be is because the drive shaft for the front axle, as you can see, is on the right hand side. The turbo is on the right hand side. Therefore, the downpipe is on the right hand side. The steering box is on the right. Everything basically is on the right hand side. And in the original Nissan engine, all of the important engine stuff, exhaust manifold and so on, were all on the left. Therefore, routing in exhaust was way easier. So with this car, because we've put the Mercedes engine in and everything is flipped over, let's get this light right, we are quite concerned about clearing that front drive shaft. So some careful, probably not so careful engineering has had to be done to try and make sure it's free. What?
Are you talking on video?
Yes.
You have got mine?
I've unplugged it.
Okay.
So you've just ruined it.
Oh no, that's fine, that's fine. I didn't want to. Have you ever wondered how you're going to switch off your OM606 with a mechanical pump? Because the mechanical pumps as found on the 603s have a rather unusual stop mechanism. If you'd like to come round here, I'll show you. So as you can see, on the 603 pumps, they don't have an electronic stop or any kind of solenoid stop. So to make it stop, vacuum is applied to this little module here, and it sucks the stop lever down and it pulls the rack, and then it stops the engine. So how are you going to achieve that in your build? Quite simply, we sell a solenoid stop kit, and what this solenoid stop is, it's just like a solenoid that's happy to be switched on all the time. Comes with a little diagram that I do that tells you how to like plug it in and how to make it work. When the vehicle is running, there is power to the solenoid which is closing the internal gate and not allowing vacuum to go to the pump and keeping the rest of the vacuum system nice and sealed, right? As soon as you switch the engine off, it connects the vacuum system through this to the module on the top of the pump and switches it off. Then, when you switch your ignition back on, it allows that to evacuate the vacuum that's in there. Is evacuate the right word when you want to get rid of vacuum? Because vacuum is an evacuation. Repressurize. Equalize, maybe, yeah, stabilize. Yeah. It's kind of like going in rather than... Yeah, anyway.
Equalize, yeah.
That happens, and then that allows you to restart your engine, because some solenoids that people use don't work because they can't evacuate, repressurize, whatever, and then you can't start it back up. It'll just crank. You have to pull a pipe off to stick it back on. Anyway, this does work. Comes with a little diagram. You don't have to think at all. You just connect the pipes as the diagram shows. That one to pump, that one to vacuum, that one to this, that one to that. And I know what you're wondering. You're thinking, with this little cool thing, where am I going to get a plug from that fits nicely on there? Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The plug on the washer bottle, on the top of a W210's washer bottle, there's like a little level sensor on the top of them. That plug fits perfectly. Look at that. There's a part number on it as well. I'll tell you what this part number is. Well, I could. It says 008 545 0828. Made in Germany.
Call today.
Yes. So get one of those, and that literally fits perfectly on there. So that pretty much covers a little tricky little thing in your build. Because most people never mention this, do they? and it is a tricky little customer. And without it, you're not going to be able to switch your engine off. I've seen people using little cables and all sorts of things to switch the pump off, and it's BS. But yeah, get yourself one of them, sell them online with the instructions, wire it up, dead easy. Get yourself a working vacuum system today. Let me do the hard work so you don't have to. A man with a loud tool. I like your tool.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. What?
Wrong guess.
You made an hole.
What?
Have you made any holes?
No, I would never do that.
Okay, well that's good. I'll tell you what, it's looking a lot nicer. A hell of a lot nicer. The floor's not, but the axle looks great.
Yeah, I think I've inhaled most of it. It should be fortunately tops.
Oh man. Yeah, great. It's going to look nice, that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all this on the outside that I can see, it'll be just the same on the inside of the chassis rails where I can't see, won't it?
Of course it will, this is me you're talking to.
No problem.
Not Nathan.
I don't even need to check then. That is mint. That looks so much better.
Whoa,
It feels heavy, that, doesn't
there's
it?
some gravity in that.
That is heavy.
It's not all steel either, we've got other bits as well.
Yeah.
Oh, she's flopping.
That is heavy, that, isn't it? Point to mention. I see you've got your safety glasses on again.
Yes, well, I put them on over the top. You see how it's clean around my eyes?
Yes.
That's where the safety glasses have been.
They
Because
were.
obviously I wear them over the top
Yeah.
of these.
Yep.
I wear yellow
I
ones.
see.
Yeah, I like to wear yellow ones.
Because when I was videoing you earlier, it wasn't obvious on the video that you had them on.
No. But I would never ever undertake a task like this
No.
without wearing safety goggles.
No. Yeah.
Hard hat.
Yes.
Gloves.
Gloves.
Overalls.
Yes. Overalls.
High-vis vest in case I get run over by a random bus.
Yeah.
Safety boots.
Yes. Safety
And
boots.
ear protection.
Ear protection.
Ear
Yes, that
protection.
was very loud for a
Yes,
long
it was
time.
very loud.
Yeah.
I've got a new bin for this so we can put it on the scales and find out how much weight reduction you've actually
Oh, good
got.
idea.
Yes.
Right, so this is how much did the rust, that just the back axle and the back end, and bearing in mind Dusty does still have probably a couple of kilos of it on his body. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we guessing? How much weight has actually come off the back in just rust? Yeah. Are you struggling with it?
Yeah, I'm really...
That's 5 kilos then. 5 kilos.
5 kilos. What
Yeah.
do you reckon?
Yeah.
5 kilos?
About 5
I think the same, to be honest.
Well, this isn't going to be a very good bet, is it?
No.
We're all like guessing the same.
Oh, 7.
7
kilos.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there's plenty more that
Just
came
pull
from,
one of them
isn't
bump stops out, just so people don't think we're cheating this. 6. Yes, it would have been 5, wouldn't it, if it weren't for them. Okay, well, 5 kilos lighter. So you have personally modified that car to a higher level of performance.
That means now I can eat 5 kilos of pie.
It's a super Leggera now, isn't it?
Amazing, amazing. Never a dull moment, is it?
Plus the front.
In the meantime, what was I making? I was sanding this piece of aluminium pipe.
And you polished that the other day as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
You
I
really
polished that.
spent your
So
time
I'm here at this end, making this all like look absolutely stunning. And well, there's people at the back end doing dirty business.
Some getting deaf, some getting dirty. Bit of everything.
I do like doing business at the back end.
Yeah.
He's known
Yeah, you're known for that.
As you can see.
Yeah, I can see that. Right, say bye.
Bye.
Be nice.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Look at you. I'm gonna show people under that.
I'm not hiding any of this from you. This, by the way, is not my work. Look at that. Look at those plates. Again there, that's the inside of the car. Well, boot. It's absolutely rotten. This is the problem. These patrols are massively shooting up in value. Massively shooting up in value. I paid 1,800 quid for this one, 2018. And half reasonable patrols are going for 10 grand now. And most of the ones that I see are rotten as a pig. And they've got a ZD30 engine in, which blows up the second you go up a hill. I know the axles are supposed to be strong, but why? Why are they going up in value? You're not getting as much for your money as you would have done when you bought it new. There's like hundreds of kilos missing. Well, we're into it this far. Let's fix it properly. Oh, I can't see you because of the sun. You just look like Jesus.
I am Jesus.
Say something biblical.
Amen.
Very good. Are we going, yeah? Right, today we're just a little over a month into this project, and we're covering something that broke a long time ago. So before this engine conversion and all this kind of thing, the bump stops inside the front springs, they basically rotted and fell out, and they fell inside the springs and they were just rattling around inside. Trying to get hold of a set of Nissan bump stops to replace the originals seems to be near impossible, so I've found a part that does the same job, a little bit bigger actually, which is nice. And I'm going to show this. So right, what we've done is jack the axle up to the point where it's nearly touching things, and then basically measured to see what sort of size bump stop I'd need, because obviously this is where the original bump stop went, and that would normally be inside the spring. The spring's obviously missing, bump stop goes in there like that. And I was driving this round for probably a month with the bump stops just literally inside the spring because the top bit rotted off. Anyway, so they have a nice thread on the top, that's brilliant. I might put these on the shop because this will be useful for people. And that'll screw back into there. You can see it's the right size. If I pop that in, it's going to stop any damage happening to the screamer pipe and the prop shaft and the downpipe. However, this patrol always throws little surprises at me, and today it surprises the section that this is fastened to. Look, if you look from underneath, is rotten, because everything is rotten in this car. It is an absolute fossil. Yeah, so that's the top of the original bump stop. That's kind of what the thread looks like on the Titanic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two new plates that these screw into and weld them to the underneath of here. Because body filler just won't cut it on this job, sadly, I'm going to have to weld a plate in. And while that's going on, let's see what that guy's coughing about. Let's have a look at what he's doing. This was the good side, and yeah, there's not as much there as there used to be.
Many more kilos, isn't it?
Yeah, weight saving. This is going to be the fastest patrol in the
Wild West.
Yeah. It disappoints me. Like many things in my life, it disappoints me. Take that as you will. No, I wasn't aiming it at you. I was thinking about something completely different.
Joel.
Yes. Right, so thanks for staying with us this far. So pretty much the final step of the patrol, well, the engine build bit, we're not talking about the rust right now, is to get the throttle cable connected up. Now the throttle cable connection is a bit of a pain, no matter what build you're doing. It's always a bit of a fiddly one. So, us as a team, have gone that extra mile to be able to provide you guys with a solution that makes putting a throttle cable onto this originally electronic pedal, making it really easy. So first of all, take your throttle pedal out of the vehicle, dead easy. you basically, what you'll see from inside the car is a nut there, and two there. So you undo them, and then that comes away and that stays on the bulkhead. And then you'll see another two bolts which hold this section onto the bulkhead, and you want to remove that. This will have a little rubber bung in it, and the end of our throttle cable simply screws into there. You just want to tighten that into there. That's nice and easy. So the next challenge is, well, you can see another little mod I've just done to it. Originally these brackets have one hole, and all I've done is elongated that hole a little bit. I think the original hole's the lower down, so I drilled another hole higher up and just elongated it with a file. Nothing complicated. So the next challenge is, how do you attach our throttle cable to this pedal? Well, you could either fabricate something and you could mess around all day, or you could buy our very nice solution, which is right here. Now, you're seeing this in the future, and we're going to jump back in time and show how this is made. But as I'm sure you've probably, or you will already see, it basically attaches to the back of this throttle pedal assembly, and it allows a nice quick cable installation, which I'm really impressed with, and I'm especially impressed with our guys for getting that pushed out so quick. I basically did a rough drawing of this, what I needed this morning, and we're here already just after dinner, and this is made ready for me to fit. So, and we do run a busy CNC shop, so very, very good. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this and get this show on the road.
So today we are going to replace a ZD30's fly-by-wire amazing system. It's very complicated, and we're going to make a attachment so we can run a cable throttle to a 606 engine. If you have a look at the screen, this is our part programmed and simulated. So now we're going to cut some metal. And away we go. Not too tight, you'll squish it.
Yeah. Now taking a measurement.
Yeah, so we're calling up the probe, and then that's so we can measure the part.
Kind of accuracy can you expect from them?
More accurate than the machine, so about 5 microns.
5 1,000th of a mil.
So 0.005.
I think it's more than that, isn't it?
No.
3 zeros. 1,000. .005. Right. Yeah. 3 dimensions, I'm guessing, aren't we?
Yeah, so we're going to do Z first. So I know that there's 11.8 mil to come off the material.
Yeah.
To get it down to the size that we want. So we're going to call this, we're going to call the top of the job, top of the part now, 11.8, because that's what we're going to take off.
Yeah.
So the probe goes down, it works on radio frequency, so when it gets a signal, it reads the signal, and then it takes a measurement of where the machine is on there. So compared to us, where this datum was last set, we've got a 60.93 difference.
Yeah. Which in this case is meaningless, does it?
No, but sometimes that matters.
Yeah.
So, and now because we've got the hole coming through, we're going to just quickly probe the hole.
Very tight.
It is snug. So, we're going to do a hole measurement.
Yeah.
We're doing one hole. We're using work offset G59. The diameter of the hole is 6.8 because that's tapping size for M8.
Yeah.
We've got a contact angle of 0 degrees, which is 3 o'clock on a CNC machine. And we're going to set the coordinates as X 43 and Y0 because that's where the hole is in the part. And then press cycle start.
Doesn't take long, does it? Because it's not got far to go.
No, that's it. That is measured.
So even though we put 6.8 in, it will tell us what it's measured it as, won't it? And it's 6.801. So I think that's pretty damn good, isn't it?
1 micron oversize.
Yeah.
Okay, so that job's now set. So we've just got to write a little program for it, and we're away.
Cool.
Tell me when. That's full throttle and off. Full throttle. How much more will the lever travel forward? $5 to 10 mil. Okay. Right, so that little, what we've just checked there with me going full throttle and Joel just checking that distance left to travel is a very, very important point to mention, and I've mentioned it a few times before. To get the maximum performance from your injector pump, you need every bit of travel from that lever. Now, this setup, I've still got some adjustments to make, but that's what I want you guys at home to be looking for with your builds. I need you to make sure that you don't have any of that travel difference, because when we set up the maximum RPM of an injector pump, that is based on that lever being all the way there, that amount of tension being on the governor. When we set the maximum CC of an injector pump, again, that is based on that lever being at the maximum point of its travel. And just bringing that lever back by 10 mil, that might make 1,000 RPM difference. It might make 50 cc difference. So they're theoretical numbers, but it makes a big difference. It's something to certainly consider. Right, so look, this is the nifty little billet piece that we made this morning, that I designed this morning. Jonathan drew up, professional, and then machined it. Amazing. And look at it, it's there, it's fitted and it's working. Look how nicely that pulls on that cable. You're not getting any horrible angles or chafing from that cable. That will literally last for years. Little bit of grease on the end of there. That will honestly last for years. That is absolutely fantastic. So one thing to be very careful of as well, you see how there's quite a lot of wiring up in this area. I've had to move one of the wires, this one, that was up there. You want to make sure that this isn't going to get caught on any wires, because of course you don't want to floor it, get a wire caught behind it, and then you can't slow down because your throttle cable's pulled at maximum. So just get some cable ties and nicely bunch all those away from there. But yeah, there you go. So that literally, for you guys at home, I mean, yes, it took me quite a while to do that, but for you guys at home, the throttle cable installation on your Y61 from a ZD30 to a 606 and our throttle cable kit is going to take, God, I don't know, probably under half an hour to do the whole thing.
Unless you drop the 10 mil.
Don't drop your 10 mil behind there. Yeah, I don't know where that spider came from, but I don't like it. Just look at that spider. Just look at it. Just look at it. Look at that spider in there. Can you see it? There. It's like got like proper. That is nasty, that, isn't it?
That's got some girth.
What? Hang on, let me move that. Move that. Ah! It was fucking alive. I had my hand in there for ages. Oh, back. Do you know what the worst thing about that is? I'm having bad spider issues at the minute. Oh God!
Should we show the people why you've got bad spider issues?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, winner! That's a wolf spider.
Why does this keep happening to me?
Stop buying food from your
That's got some funky colours on it, hasn't it?
Does it not wash the fucking lettuce?
Oh, fuck me, that creeped me out. Your reaction was pretty good. I wish I had that.
I would have eaten that fucker. don't know.
And it would have had a little. It would have gone pop like a grape when you'd have eaten it, wouldn't it?
That's fine.
Oh, it's a bit salty, this sandwich. Not happy. Meanwhile, you got your crisps. Happy days. Will's had his own sandwich. That's what the safe thing to do is.
Yeah, but where's it gone now?
You got your 10 mil. Luke, your hand was poking in there for ages.
God.
Your hand was poking in there blind.
Fucking hell. And it's the freaking weekend, maybe about to have me some fun. Bounce? Bounce? Right, watch yourself, everyone. Yeah, a little bit.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Shimoni. Right, let's see if this works. Everybody stand the F back.
Oh.
That happens every time. There's a red light on.
Nathan's right next to the exhaust.
Just watch yourself, Nathan.
Oh.
That's why it's not working. The wire fell off. Hang on, you watch it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Rev counter's working.
Yeah. Well, it was until you let go.
Try again. Everybody stand back. Right, so that needs tweaky. So what we're doing now is obviously a really important part in anyone's build is to make sure the rev counter works, because so many builds that you see, people don't bother. And it's dead easy. You buy one of these DSL-1E, and it's a digital tachometer interface, if you were wanting to Google it, digital tachometer interface. And basically this takes the signal from the W wire on the back of the alternator, which we've run into the car, needs a positive and negative feed, and then on the plus and minus buttons here we can adjust the revs on the dash until it reads what we want it to read. So I would say this thing's idling at about, I would say about 800, somewhere there. Might just give it a little licky. Is it blowing shit everywhere?
Not everywhere.
A bit.
A bit.
Right, so we now need to check the speed at the actual crank pulley. So you've already put a bit of tape on the thingy, haven't you? Let's do that one. 600, yeah?
Yeah. 610.
About there. Just a little over 600, yeah?
First drive.
Is that working?
Yes, it is.
The airbag light's flashing because the airbag's not quite operational. So, first gear, just gently, nice and don't fucking do anything stupid. Second gear, stupid. Everybody likes to scream.
Why does it keep bloody turning?
Yeah, the brakes are still a bit scuffed, rusty. That's the best way of describing it. There's no leaks, which is good. The oil cooler's starting to warm up, which is good. It's not overheated. There's a little bit of temperature in the charge cooler now, which is nice. Under half a bar, usually at idle.
Alright.
And then if I give it a little lick, it'll go up, it'll fluctuate a bit. This is an 8.5mm pump, so it doesn't need much pressure to... I'm going to leave it hunty. I'm not even going to tickle that. Yeah. Should I bomb past? Or not? Start on the grass. So if you have managed to stay to the end of this video, I can only say congratulations. You don't need to like or subscribe because you're obviously the hardcore anyway. But yeah, I'm sure there's probably a couple of little bits I missed in the video, but it's seriously hard to build something in a busy workshop as well as getting every little detail. I think the only thing I really didn't go into too much depth about was the charge cooler system, and that basically, just to briefly tell you, runs a separate cooling system to the actual cooling system. So it has its own radiator at the front, which you'll have seen. The lower one is the radiator for it, and it has a small electric water pump. Well, I say small, it's the same Bosch water pump that you would see on a Range Rover or a Jag or something like that, and I supply those new. So yeah, that's how that works, and that permanently circulates the water. I didn't go into too much depth about the engine build because there's so many smaller videos about that on my page, but the engine, for all intents and purposes, it is stock internals. It's running 150 bar injectors. It's obviously our 8.5mm pump, but inside the engine is totally standard. It doesn't have upgraded rods or anything. I would probably advise them for this particular build, but I wanted to get some other bits tested, and I like pushing my luck. So anyway, thank you very much for watching it all. Follow us for, I think we're going to be maybe taking this off-road or up against another cool 4x4 that you might have seen on YouTube. Either way, whatever happens, enjoy. Thanks guys, bye.